My name is Batrisyia binti Zulkifly.
My name is Nurhidayu Afrina binti Norhisham.
My name is Hanee Huwaina binti Hanif.
My name is Nurul Shazzleen Shamsudin. And this is our video about
climate change.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. A greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilization and the extinction much of the natural world is on the horizon.
Let's talk about climate change. People are calling it the crisis of our time, and it is. But what is our climate, and why this is changing? Our climate is the Earth's normal weather over a very long time. It usually takes hundreds or thousands of years for the climate change. But recently, our climate has been changing much faster. All the changes make life harder for our plants, animals, and for people around the world. And the biggest cause of climate change is humans. That it is, including you and me. When we use fuel like oil and gasoline or remove forests to make room for cities, we release greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. These greenhouse gases cause our climate to get warmer. This extra heat can cause all sorts of problems for our planet and the plants, animals, and people who live here. Our ice and snow are melting faster, our oceans are getting warmer and higher, and our weather is becoming more extreme with more heat waves, heavy rainfalls, and powerful hurricanes. Luckily, there are many ways to fight climate change, and there are a lot easy ways you and I can work together to fight it. Like reusing things instead throwing them out. Instead of driving, ride your bike or take the public transport. Use less electricity. Change your home source and switch to an electricity vehicle.
Causes of climate change. The first one is deforestation. Deforestation happens when trees and forests turn carbon dioxide into oxygen. So when they are cleared, the stored carbon is then released into the atmosphere. Deforestation can also occur naturally, which has a greater effect because of the fumes released from the fire. So next is waste. A lot of items, waste and packaging is not recyclable, so which means it ends up in landfills. When the waste in landfills begins to break down, it releases harmful gases into the atmosphere. So it means it contributes to climate change. The third one is oil drilling. Oil drilling is responsible for 30% of methane oil drilling pollution and around 8% carbon dioxide pollution. Oil drilling is used to collect petroleum oil hydrocarbons in this process, while other gases are released into the atmosphere. Next is industrialization. It is the creation of goods change from handmade to machine-made goods and factories. The fat coal came into large-scale use during the Industrial Revolution, resulting smoke insulate, which had serious health impact on the residents.
In Malaysia, climate change is resulted in floods, water shortage and less food. In 2017, floods in Kelantan cost more than 30 million ringgit in damage, whereas floods in Penang cost 34 million ringgit in damage. Despite evidence of impacts such as more frequent floods, debate on climate change in Malaysia is still muted. Now, I will be explaining how does climate change impacts, not for humans but for plants and animals. Around the world, there are many different kinds of biomass. Places for the climate, the average weather over time defines what kind of plants and animals can live there. Rainforests, deserts, prairies, and tundra are just some examples that humans can live in all of them. When it gets uncomfortably warm, humans can wear light clothes, turn on the air conditioning, or spend more time in someplace cool. But for plants and animals, things are not that easy. They live in particular biomass because they are best adapted to the weather, soil, and daylight found in those places. Some animals can tolerate big swings in weather and can find food from many different sources, so they will be able to survive and stay where currently found. Species with more specific needs will have to move to other areas to find what they need to survive. Those that can't find those conditions quickly enough will die. Climate change may be an even bigger challenge for plants since they can't get up and live like animals. Plants rely on their seeds being dispersed by wind, water, and animals. Like animals, some plant species can tolerate environmental extremes, so their range may not be affected by climate change. Other plants are not so flexible and will go extinct unless a seed lands in the right place for long-term growth or humans move them and care for them. Crops will be affected too. While domesticated plants have been bred to have wide climatic tolerances, different crops still grow fast in different parts of the country. Bountiful crops need timely seasonal water and temperature changes, plus appropriate daylight and soil quality. As climate change, temperature and precipitation patterns will change. Farmers will need to shift where they grow certain crops. However, simply planting further nodes might not always work. Although climate and soil might be perfect, days will be shorter, so crops may not mature to produce food. The warming global climate has already impacted ecosystems and threatened many species. As it progresses, it will bring even more chaos and lost biodiversity around the world. Temperature and sea levels are rising, but most Malaysians don't link this to climate change and yet are complacent. Selangor, Malaysia's richest state, is expected to experience more frequent water shortage, said Dr. Reynolds too. Crop yield in Malaysia has declined 10 to 15% annually due to the unpredictable weather. According to the world-leading climate scientists, there are only a dozen years to cap global warming to a maximum of 1.5 degrees Celsius.
How to solve problem climate change? The global climate is changing and that is posing increasingly severe risks for ecosystem, human health and the economy. The first one is the uses of energy. The use of energy represents by far the largest source of greenhouse gas emission from human activities.
Renewable energy has many benefits. First, it can combat climate change. It creates no direct greenhouse gas emissions. The only emissions that they produce are indirect, meaning those that result from manufacturing parts, installation, operation, and maintenance. But even those are minimal. Renewable energy can decrease pollution and therefore reduce threats to our health. There is a great potential for reducing our environmental impact by changing the mode of transport we use or when possible. By choosing options that require little to no transportation at all, like eating local food or telecommuting. Transportation is such an important factor in global carbon emissions that government and companies around the world are increasingly looking to innovate. On the rise at the moment are biofuels for electricity, mass transportation and new type of freight ships, as well as different type of infrastructure such as roads, railways, airport and fueling stations to support transportation system. Ensuring that these systems are also safe, clean, affordable, comfortable, efficient and reliable is also critical in determining how they take shape in different parts of the world. Next, waste food. Every year, we throw away 1/3 of the food we buy. That adds up to over 1 billion tons of food wasted worldwide every year. That's not all we throw away. Millions of hectares of forests are cut down annually to grow food. This put a strain on the water supply and lead to the loss of animals, plants, and the areas where they live. When the food we throw away rots, it releases a harmful greenhouse gas and causes pollution. So how to solve this problem? Simply by planning our meals, purchasing only what we require, researching recipe to use a leftover ingredient, avoiding discounted multi-buys at the supermarket, and purchasing loose fruit and vegetables rather than large bags. We can make a significant contribution to protect the planet for future generations. Living in continuously evolving technological world, e-waste, unwanted high-tech trash is quickly becoming a leading source of waste production. Many of us are often unknowingly throwing our electronics in the trash without understanding the harm it causing to our earth and ultimately to one another. They have many types of toxic substances built into them. Some of these keep devices safe from harm, such as polyvinyl chloride in wires and cables. This substance will end up in our drinking water and in the air we breathe. So what we can do? We can help by not giving big corporation marketing. This company made us to buy more and more electronic. They are purposely designing their product to break over time to make more money. We can also dispose our electronic by recycling them. We can recycle e-waste in the blue bin, but we can sell it to the trusted company.
September 21st, 2019, more than 350 protesters marched and held placards calling for action against climate change in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. One of the official demands is to raise awareness among Malaysians while the climate crisis. Our future generation is still lack of awareness of climate crisis. Therefore, government should take up the responsibility of educating the citizens.
You and I, we can make a difference. We can fight climate change